All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to you, Akim, that are out here doing this work in truth and sincerity. This is the brother Awar Ba, representing Great Millstone, Dallas, coming back to you again with another exhortation, all through the Spirit. I pray that this is edifying, and I'm just here to wake up the elect and feed the flock. All right. So today's topic, basically I'm just going to be going into not making yourself equal to, great men or just people that have higher rank than you do, not to get yourself too familiar with, your higher ups, because that can utterly lead to your destruction. All right. So, the Lord the Spirit has it on me to go into this lesson because this is something that, is needed, because this is a week right after the Passover, and this is a time of, self-examination, and also, the Lord has a spotlight on Israel as a whole. He's examining all of us and watching us all with a close, he's got us all under the, not the microscope, but basically he's watching us very, very, very closely. And so in this time and age, we have to be mindful of the things that we're doing and the people that we're around, and then just our actions altogether, because the Lord is still sifting. Okay? Just because the Passover has come and gone doesn't mean that the Lord is still not sifting. Okay? So we just want to be mindful of just different things. All right, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and jump into it. And first scripture that I'm going to pull is going to be in Sirach. It's like I was looking up a few different things. All right, Sirach, the 32nd chapter and the 7th verse. All right, so I'm going to go on through a few different things, but we're just going to let the Spirit roll with it. All right, so this is Sirach chapter 32, verse 7, and it says, "Speak, young man, if there be need of thee, and yet scarcely when thou art twice asked." Okay, so basically that's going into speak when there's something for you to say, or don't speak unless spoken to. If there's something that is of accord for you to say or to speak, then do so. Don't let things just pass by without the opportunity to do good. If it's something that you have knowledge on or wisdom on, then speak. But if it's something in the most cases where you ain't got no business really speaking, keep your mouth shut, man. Because learned men back in those times, they have two ears and one mouth, and they understood that analogy and they took it seriously. They weren't. The men of the Lord weren't men of many words. If I could just loosely paraphrase it like that, they were men that didn't really speak a whole lot. They were actually men that actually observed and listened more so than they spoke. Okay? Because according to the scriptures, it even tells you that a fool is counted wise when he's got his mouth shut. All right? So let's keep it moving. This is verse 8. "Let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. Be as one that knoweth and yet holdeth his tongue." All right. "If thou be among great men, make not thyself an equal with them. And then when ancient men are in place, use not many words." Okay, let's tackle the first part of verse 9. Okay, if thou be among great men, make not thyself equal with them. Yeah, prime example, man. If you're around elders of a camp, or even if you count yourself, if you're lucky enough to be around the apostles, man, the apostles are very cool men. They're men at the end of the day, and a lot of them are cool and good-natured and meek and humble, and so it's easy for you to get yourself caught up and just fellowshipping with them, but you'll start to get comfortable to the point to where you feel like you can just say anything or tell them anything or do anything amongst them, and that is not what's up. You'll get yourself caught up like that. because you could end up saying something and not realizing who you're saying it to, and it can come off offensive, or, you know, it can put you just in a bad situation altogether. And plus, those men been in this thing 20, 30 years, man. You've been in this thing 5 or 6, or let's just say if you've been in there 8 to 10 years. You know, you're not on a level as the apostles, man. Okay? And that goes for, you know, any younger brother or anybody that's in the body that, you know, may deal with people that have higher rank than them, that's been in this thing longer, man. You know, there's order and there's rank for a reason. You know, these people are set above you, you know, for different reasons. You know what I'm saying? So you can't go in and just feel like you got it, you're on a level, you know, just because a brother may relate to you in a certain way, you know, or a certain aspect. You can't feel like you are equal to him because he's done more. He's been in it more longer. He's toiled longer. He's been given a higher responsibility than somebody like you, you know, that has just maybe be coming into this thing or only been in this for a few years. Okay. All right, let's look at the next verse of this one, or the next part of verse 9. And it says, and when ancient men are in place, use not many words. That's right, man. You know, the last thing that you want is somebody that can't get their point across, you know, in a few sentences or few words. Nobody likes somebody that constantly just babbles and just talks just to hear themselves talk, you know. And just think of older men, you know, think of men in their 60s, 70s, 80s, you know. They get what they have across in few words, in short words, you know. They're not trying to sit there and try to have something that's drawn out because it becomes grievous unto them. It's a pain to listen to. Same thing when you're around wise, learned men, ancient men, you know. Even in prayer, you know, the scriptures tell you, you know, few words, man. Go in, make it short, simple, sweet. Get it out of the way. Don't make it all long and drawn out. All right. Okay, so again, this is Sirach verse 30, or chapter 32, verse 9, or verse 8. Let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words, but as one that knoweth and yet holdeth his tongue. If thou be among great men, make not thyself equal with them. When ancient men are in place, use not many words. Okay. You know, I'm gonna drop down to verse 12, and it says, there take thy pastime and do what thou wilt. Yeah, so do whatever you want in your own social life or whatever, your own time, but do not sin, slakia, but sin not by proud speech. Basically, man, if you're around learned men, or if you're around elders, you're around apostles, or you're around somebody of pure importance, you know, if you make yourself an equal with them, and, you know, you come off the wrong way, you can come off the wrong way, and you can come off as proud to some people, man. You know, because you got yourself too comfortable or too familiar with somebody. You know, you can come off very, very proud, very arrogant, and very unlearned and novice-like, you know. And that's like smoke to the eyes of an elder, you know. And that can get you, you know, a spotlight put on your back or a target put on your back, when in reality all you were trying to do was just, you know, make light of a situation. You get yourself in a bad, you know, spotlight or a bad position just by doing, you know, just by talking too much or having a proud tongue or a proud look about you, you know. Okay. And then also, you know, I'm just thinking of a certain time, even Yahushua, man, you know, in the book of Philippians, even him, you know, there was a tale or account where, you know, he made himself not as an equal. You know, you got to think about what he did. So, you know, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get the account of it, of what I'm talking about. Salakia. This is going to be 2 Philippians. And, Salakia, bear with me. This is going to be Salakia, Philippians 2, in the 5th chapter, or 5th verse in the, Salakia, Philippians 2, and I'm going to start at verse 5, okay? It says this, let this mind be in you, which was also in Yahushua Hamashiach, okay, who being in the form of God, thought it not robbery to be equal with God. Okay, now here's the thing. But made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant, and was made in the likeness of men. Okay, so we already know that Yahushua, was the first being that was ever made outside of, the Most High after making the world, And so even though he knows his statute or his status, in rankings and everything like that, but he made himself of no reputation, okay? Made himself a base person and took upon him the form of a servant. That's exactly what we do, man. We took upon ourselves the form of a servant being in this ministry, man. We're servants to one another. We're servants to the body of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. We're servants to the cause, to what the Most High's will is, Abaratazah. Okay? So we got to remember that. So verse 7, but made himself of no reputation, and took upon the form of a servant, and was made in the likeness of men, and began, and being found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself, and became obedient unto death, even to the death of the cross. That's right, man. So when you're amongst, men of stature or elders or apostles or men that are above you, make not yourself a equal unto them. If Yahushua could do it, man, on a higher base, under the man or the creator of the universe, then why can't you do it on a small level, man? All right. So with that, you got to examine yourself, man. Examine yourself and be careful in just your everyday speech and how you conduct yourself around, the men of the Lord. All right. So I hope this lesson has been edifying. And with that, before I close, I'm going to give all praise once again to Yahweh, B'Shem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and salutations to you, Akim, that are out there doing this work in truth and sincerity. Again, I'm the brother Awarba, representing Great Millstone, Dallas. Until next time, Shalom.